Hello, hi guys. Myself Arun. We are online classes, which is an institute. So we will be training .NET Core Java and Springboot, and we are a team of working professionals with 3+ years of experience. So let us come to our session. In previous session, we have discussed about what is MVC. Okay, we have discussed about what is MVC. So what is MVC? It is a separation of concerns. It is nothing but separation of concerns. Separation of concerns means what? We are separating the layers. Actually, we are separating the layers from one another. So for example, in the previous class we have discussed about three layers which are present, like BLL, DLL and PL. So BLL is similar to controller. This is what we have discussed in the previous session. BLL is similar to the controllers and DAL is similar to models and presentation layer is similar to views. So MVC is nothing but it is a separation of concerns which is used for developing different types of web applications. So basically MVC is defined as it is a separation of concerns which is used for developing different types of web applications. So web application is nothing but, so for example we have browser. Okay, for example we have a browser like, hello, hi guys, I'm B. Arun. We are online classes and we are an institute where we are team of working professionals with 3+ years of experience. So let us come to our session. So in the previous class, we have discussed about what is MVC. Okay. So MVC is nothing but it is defined as separation of concerns. Separation of the layers which are present. So what layers we are having in MVC? We are having M, V, and C. Okay. M stands for model and V stands for view and C stands for controller. So here MVC is defined as separation of concerns, where there are three layers: models, views, and controllers. So basically in the previous session we have discussed that we are having three layers like BLL, business logic layer, data access layer, and presentation layer. So in MVC, when comparing to MVC, okay, when we are comparing with MVC, when we are comparing with MVC, we can define the model as data access layer. We can compare the model with data access layer, and we can compare the view with presentation layer, and we can compare the controller with business logic layer. So here we are defining the MVC as separation of concerns, which is used for designing different types of web applications by separating the layers from one another. That is called as MVC. MVC is defined as a separation of concerns which is used for designing a web application with different layers which are separated from each other. That is called as MVC. So for example, we are saying that MVC is used for designing web application. So what is a web application? Basically, what is a web application? So for example, we can take a browser. Okay, we can take one second. Okay, so we are having one web application where we can take one web application. So this is a browser. Okay, let us take any browser like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, any of the browser we can take. So in this web application, generally what will happen is, generally it will display one page whenever we load. For example, if you take a gmail.com, okay, so whenever we enter gmail.com, www.gmail.com, it will present one page. This page is called as the presentation layer, which is called as the view. So the screen, whatever we are seeing on our monitor, whatever the screen we are seeing on our monitor, the login page is called as the presentation layer, is called as the presentation layer, or or we can call that as view. Okay, understood, no? Presentation layer or view. So the login page, whatever we are seeing, the web application means the browser which is presenting the page is called as the presentation layer or view. From this web page, whatever the values, for example, we will have different fields like username, password, mobile number, address, gender, date of birth, contact number, father name, mother name. So whatever the fields we are having, after entering the values, whenever we click on submit, okay, whenever we click on submit, these values are posted to the controller. These values are posted to the controller. So whenever the values the values are submitted, let me erase this. Okay, let me erase this. So what is the flow is flow of MVC. Okay, flow of MVC. So initially what will happen is page is displayed. For example, login page. Okay, so after the page is displayed, whenever after entering the values, whenever, so user clicks on submit. Okay, user clicks on submit. So after user clicks on submit, after entering the values like username, password, after entering all these values, after the user clicks on submit, what will happen is the values are sent to the controller, via post method. Okay, via post method. Values are sent. One second. Okay, values are sent to the controller via post method. Okay, values are sent to the post method. So after entering the values are sent to the controller via post method, what will happen is the controller will search the particular model. What is a model? Model is a collection of tables. Okay, how model can be generated? Do you know? Did anybody know how model will be generated? Model will be generated via entity data model diagram. Model will be generated via entity data model diagram, that is called as .edmx file. Okay. So entity data model diagram will be generated through ADMX file. Okay. So after the model will be selected, the values are processed, and then the model returns back the result data set to the controller. Model returns back the result data set to the controller after processing the data. Model returns back the result data set to the controller, and then controller renders the view and displays the result. This is the flow of MVC. What is the flow of MVCs? First is page is displayed. The user requests for a page, like for example, login page. And then the page is displayed in the browser. And then after entering all the values like username, password, and everything, after entering all the values, the user clicks on submit. So what happens after clicking on submit? The values are sent to the controller via post method. The values are sent to the controller via post method. And then the controller will search the particular model for processing the data. So it should communicate with the database. No, after the sending the values to the controller, we should send the values to the database for inserting or for selecting purpose or for performing insert query or performing select query or for performing update query. So like this, for performing different types of operations, controller will search the particular model. Okay, controller will search the particular model, and model will be generated. So how the model can be generated? Normal question is how the model will be generated. Model will be generated via entity data model diagram, that is .edmx file. Model will be generated via entity data model diagram, that is .edmx file. So after the controller will search the particular model, what will happen is the model will process the data. Like it performs a particular operation like insert or select or update or delete or truncate. So whatever the operation is there, it will perform the operation, and the model returns back the result data set to the controller. The controller will search the particular model, and model returns back the result data set to the controller. Now the data is present in the controller. Okay, the result data set. After performing the particular operation like update or delete or select, the result data is present in the controller. Now model is sent back the result to the controller. What the controller will do? The controller will display the result in the view. This is what the flow of MVC is. Flow of MVC. So how the MVC will be working is in this process. Okay, all of you understood, no? So please remember this flow. Okay, I'm erasing this. Now let's coming to the next concept is what are the advantages of MVC? What are the advantages of MVC? What are the advantages of MVC? Okay, what are the advantages of MVC normally? So first advantage is routing. Routing. So what is routing? What is routing? Routing is nothing but it is a pattern matching system. It is a pattern matching system which maps the incoming URL with the URL of the application. With the URL, which maps the incoming URL with the URL of the application. So what is the incoming URL? Incoming URL will be present in this format. http://www.abc.com/login.aspx. Okay, this is the incoming URL. So what the browser will display initially. This is the incoming URL. Okay. So what the URL is the application? In application, the URL will be like this: abc.com/login. This is the URL of MVC application. So what the MVC will do, what the routing will do is, the routing will map these two URLs. It is a pattern matching system which maps the incoming URL with the URL of the MVC application. It maps the URL. It maps the URL from the incoming URL to the URL of MVC application. Okay. So initially the objective, the result is this URL will be displayed. This URL will be displayed. This URL will be displayed. This URL is displayed in the browser. This URL will be displayed in the browser. So this is the advantage of the MVC routing. Routing is the advantages of the MVC. Okay. So that is the main point. And another important advantage is state management. State management. So what is a state management? What is state management? It is the process of transferring data from one page to another page. It is a process of transferring the data from one page to another page. So normally in ASP.NET, what we'll do, we'll use sessions, cookies, view state, query strings, application state. So this is all we will use as a state management process. But in MVC, we are having different state management techniques. So what are they are? First one is view back, and next one is view data, and next one is temp data, and next one is session. So these are the advantages of MVC. Okay, you understood, no? These are the advantages of MVC. Okay, guys. So if you have any doubt, please post in the channel and YouTube channel below. If you can post your comments and you can post your doubts also. If you have any doubts regarding to my session, you can post in the YouTube channel. Okay. Until then, take care. Goodbye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.